Sekirei, hands down, is one of my favorite animes of all time. I mean, it's your typical harem, but with great battles and great characters and great character designs, may I add. Now, if everybody, I don't think a lot of people know this, but Sekirei, the manga, has ended. It's over. If you want to check it out, go ahead to manga here or just links like that, and you can read all the chapters. And it's a really good manga, actually. I think some people have a problem with the ending, but this is where I'm going to explain a little bit of the ending and just really the ending and maybe a little bit of the things leading up to the ending, but mostly the ending, maybe the big happy ending that I think you guys are all wondering if it happened or not. And that's exactly what we get from Sekirei. The last chapter and the last couple chapters is a big kind of happy ending for a lot of these characters. Now, a little bit of backstory. I mean, watching Sekirei, watched it. I first found Sekirei on Netflix, and I watched of course, the first season, and man, I fell in love. It's about the Sekirei plan. It's about Minato being an Ashikabi, and the Ashikabi is for a Sekirei to pretty much contact. They need to kiss their Ashikabi, their one true love, and they'll be able to wing. And they have powers, and they have their Sekirei plan. All of them have to fight one another, and only one Ashikabi and one Sekirei can be granted a wish at the very end of this game. This game that the president has created. So these Sekirei are pretty much like goddesses, and the first we follow Minato, and Minato is just down on his luck. He's not the most capable and strongest person in the world, but he does have a great heart. And he stumbles upon, or Musabi stumbles upon, Minato. And of course, love at first sight, so to speak, and they go through situations together, and she asks him to wing her, and he does. And that is his Sekirei, and that he is her Ashikabi. And along through the series, we meet other characters, and we get other characters being winged. We meet the landlady, who they end up, because Minato can't stay at his place. He doesn't have enough money. He doesn't have enough rent. His mom cuts him off at that point, so he finds another place to live, and this landlady gives him a place to live. But and she's the most sweetest person ever. And then we have a freaking Minato starts weaning a lot of the different girls, and a lot of these girls I absolutely love. I mean, I love Matsu. Matsu is just a scientist. She used to work with the MBI. She is a secretary herself. She used to be in one of the kind of like the groups where they keep in order of all the secretaries. So she's a smart. She's able to hack into satellites of the MBI satellites, and she's just a monster when it comes to hacking. She's just a gifted, smart secretary. That's her ability. That's her power. So of course she gets weaned by Minato, and then you have a little girl named Kazu. Kazu is able to manipulate a lot of the forestry around her, and then you have my absolute favorite, Skumi. Skumi is able. She said her dialogue is so much different. It's like Shakespearean sort of, and she has she's one of the strongest Sekirei that Minato has because they're all numbered. Well, her able is to manipulate water as well, and she is just a very brass. You could say Sune. No, Tsunade type character where she's brash and she's kind of like, oh, Minato, but I just love her character and I love her look too. It really reminds me of Hagenite as well with the relationship between her and Musabi, because it's a rival like relationship, but Musabi is such a sweetheart herself. You have Hamura. Hamura is, you don't know if he's a boy or a girl, but then you find out later on in the series that yes, his or her body transforms depending on the Ashikabi that she's going to be with. Uh, Kazu, Kazuja-chan or something like that. She is awesome. She's a drunk. She loves her sake. She's just absolutely. She's a beautiful woman who actually had relations with Minato's father, the president. But she is in love, truly in love with Minato in the series, and you see that along along the way as well. And then you have Uzumi, who is just pretty much another somebody who lives in the same building or same along with the landlord lets live in the same place as Minato and all the girls and stuff. So I mean, this there's a lot of great characters and there's a lot of great battles and stuff. So when season 1 hit and I watched that, I needed season 2, and then season 2 came out and it was pure engagement. Freaking I loved it. I loved both the seasons. I'm like, when's season 3 gonna happen? And then I heard the manga is still going. I'm like, okay, maybe the manga ends and then we get our season 3. And then there is, there's Sekirei number 4. She is definitely wants to fight Musabi throughout the whole series and stuff. And then there's the president's plan, and then along the way, so we learn that we get we meet more characters. I mean, we met Seo, and Seo, my boy Seo, I loved him. I loved him in the series, the 2 anime series seasons. He's awesome. I love his Sekirei as well, the Lightning Girls. But we get him in the manga a little bit more. We get different type of characters, and we learn their stories, and we learn Minato goes. It just gets more crazier, so to speak, in the story, and it kind of gets messy, honestly, towards the very end of the story. But all you guys need to know, so I'm going to explain what happens at the end, and this whole happy ending, is that there's a Kaiton, the president actually gets, I think, knocked out, and he doesn't, he's not even there for the final stage, the final battle. But this, so it's winding down, right? The Secretary plan's winding down, this is what the president planned on happening, and then this Kaiton is up in the sky. I believe it's called a Koiton. I can't really pronounce it really well, as you can tell. And so basically, the Sekirei plan is all almost done. The last remaining few, but Musabi, of course, fights with Sekirei number 4. Sekirei number 4, and she ends up losing. Musabi ends up beating number 4. But so she is kind of like the last remaining, and then she goes to the Kaiton. So the Kaiton, the one who is helming it, this is basically the creme de la creme, where all Sekireis, all these Sekireis are deactivated and this and that. This is where you need to be. This is where the last person you need to fight in order to get your wish and this and that. So Musabi finds out that she's fighting because she's the one that's picked, and she has everybody's will, everybody's wish. She has Minato's wish all on her shoulders. She goes up to the Kaiton, and the Kaiton, guess who is the person who she's facing right in front of her? It's the landlady. The landlady, the strongest, number 00. They clash, and then Musabi ends up winning that fight, and Musabi ends up reactivating all the wings, because Minato's wish is for all the Sekirei to choose, right? To break the chains, and for the little birds to get out of the cage, and for them to choose what they want to do. A lot of the Sekirei's memories are gone, except for Minato's and some other characters who were kind of involved in the last fight. But a lot of the Sekirei's who have been reactive and don't, or some of them who don't even have crests, they lose their memories. But that was Minato's wish, was for all the Sekireis to choose to do what they want to do. And even though it's still, the Sekirei plan is still commencing, there's still things going, it leaves a open ending, so to speak, because the president is still at large. He wakes up, Minato tells him, and Minato finds out that that's his papa. He finds out that's his dad. And he says it's okay, it's not gonna change me. It's interesting, but I'm pretty sure that the president, if I like Sekirei, I think he likes Sekirei as well. So he's pretty much saying that, yeah, basically I know who my dad is, but I'm not gonna let that change me, and I'm gonna just keep doing what I always did without him. So the president is and then he has a ship going on and stuff. He's repairing the ship and everything, because he has a ship at this point. And so the MBI is still going on. Minato's mom is still working, but Minato wants to be involved with a lot of what MBI is doing because he wants to learn more so he could help a lot of these Sekirei out there. And Hamada is still doing her stuff. And I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, so Musabi though has to stay at the Koitan because she has to take control of this cord that the Koitan has and kind of absorb it, be one with it. But she tells Minato and everybody, like, everybody watch Minato while I'm gone. I'll be back. So Musabi explains to Minato, I will be back, but I have to, in order for your wish to come true, I have to do some things. So that's exactly what she does. She stays up there while Minato and everybody looks from afar. It's kind of like Eureka 7's ending, where Eureka and Renton are kind of like in their honeymoon on the moon, but someday they're going to come back. That's kind of like what's going on with Sekirei. So, going to the individuals now. The individuals, Minato and everybody is happily at the house. Uzume gets reactivated, but her memories are not all there. But she still is able to... Uzume, who... Remember, I believe the second season or the first season, she dies, or presumably she dies. Well, she, of course, gets resurrected or reactivated, and she's able to actually be with the person that she loved, that girl, and they both, as the Ashikabi, Uzume gets weaned again, and now they are able to stay forever with each other. So that relationship comes with a happy ending. Uzume is back, and then they actually throw a party at the inn at the house where the landlady is actually awake. The landlady is able to wake up. Musabi was able to help her and bring her back, reactivate her as well. And what's crazy is that the landlady's husband it is hinted that he's still alive. He's just sleeping. And number 4 is still sleeping as well, because number 4 just like couldn't deal with all this stuff. And she said, just like leave me out of it. So number 4 is sleeping, and the landlady's husband is actually not dead. He's actually he's in kind of somewhat of like a coma, or like just sleeping. So that's hinted that he'll wake up someday, which is kind of crazy. So the landlady's fine though. She's awake. Some of her memories wasn't there when she woke up, but she remembers everything. Pretty much starts remembering everything. She's weak right now, but and Matsu is kind of told like Minato, like maybe she's like really kind of weak and stuff. Maybe you should wing her. And Minato says it's not my place to wing her. There's her husband, and that's why it's so hinted that he's still alive. So Uzumi gets a happy ending. Landlady gets a happy ending. Seal always coming over to go get that rice, go get that food. He has a happy ending. This dude did work, man. We see him with kids. We see him with like a bunch of kids. This is kind of crazy, man. He's doing the Beelzebub because when they cry, I think it was like a shout out to Beelzebub, because when the kids cry, all you see is lightning all over the place, and you see his Sekirei saying, "Hey kids, don't." The twin sisters like, don't be shocking daddy. So this dude did work. He has a lot of work on his hands, so he has a happy ending because Minato does say that looks like he's happy. And so let's go on to Minato's Sekirei. Let's go on to the first one. The first one that we see, because everybody gets their shining moment at the end of this manga. And Hamada. Hamada is the first one up. I like Hamada. I've liked her, and I like the story and the conflict that was going on between choosing to be a man and a woman. This is how you know Minato was such a great character, when he didn't care. He didn't care. He just didn't want to see him or her hurt. That's why he weaned her or him. Because Homura was the last one not to be weaned, and if he was going to be weaned, he was going to be turned to ash. So that's when he knew Minato had such a great heart, and he was such a great character. And Hamada, it's still doing. I'm just going to say her, still doing her thing, protecting a lot of these Sekirei who are maybe be forced to be weaned, or people are trying to have them as slaves and stuff. See, now I'm going back to he basically, yeah, he's protecting them. He's still doing his thing about protecting all of them. And then Minato kind of makes a suggestion like, okay, I need to learn more about this so I could also do my part in protecting a lot of these Sekirei because this was my wish too. And Homura just absolutely just gushes and blushes and just was taken aback by that and just so happy with Minato. And then they lock lips, or I should say Homura wanted to lock lips, and they lock lips, and they have, an understanding, happy ending. And that's one girl down, but Minato's wish was to live with everybody, right? And that's exactly what he's getting. He's getting a harem ending at the end of this manga. So that's a Homura moment. And then he had Kazu's sleepy, and Kazu. This is what I love, that they didn't go. The creator did not have Kazu kiss Minato on the lips, because I always thought that was kind of creepy with Kazu being a little child and then kid having to kiss Minato on the lips. They'll be winged. It was weird. So at Kazu's, she's sleepy. She actually saw him kiss Hamura, and which is funny because he's before then he kisses Kazuhana, and I'll get to that in a moment. But Kazu's like jealous, and then she says, "Well, I just want to be with you. I want to be with you forever and ever," and that's Kazu's plan from the start. So she kisses him on the cheek, and it's a nice, touching. Like, it reminds me of like a brother and sister type moment. Then we have Kazuhana before Kazu kissed Minato on the cheek. Kazuhana's up on the rooftop. I mean, she's like drunk. She has sake bottles all over the place. Even Minato's like, "Oh yeah, that's a lot. How many have you drank?" And he's up on the roof, sits by her, and they're just discussing. And Kazuhana just kind of lays one on. The fireworks are going, and this is during the party. Fireworks are going, and Kazuhana just like, she sees the man that he's become and what he wants to do and how manly it is. So she kisses him, and her wings come out, and it's a great scene. I love Kazuhana. Kazuhana was the funniest character in the Sekirei one, or she was one of the funniest ones. She just was a joyful character, and it was nice to have. And she was bold. She made Minato a man. Like, it was a bold. She always did bold moves, and she always was one to just get Minato's like, "Come here," like. So that was a great moment. So moving from there, we had Matsu, and Matsu's spying on him. She still has a satellite, and she's still looking at the Kaitun. She's still making sure that everything's fine with the Kaitun. If Musabi will come back, make sure everything is fine. So she still has access to the NBI satellite. So she's like, "Oh yeah, I saw you flirting and all that stuff. Now I want an exchange here for everything I'm doing for you. Make sure everything's okay. And if Musabi's gonna come, I want some exchange. I want some of that. I want something you owe me." So what I didn't like was they didn't show the kiss of Matsu and Minato, because I love Matsu. Matsu's such a funny ass character, such a great character. But the problem with a lot of the times with the manga and even the anime series, is they didn't have too much moments, like love romantic moments between those two. And I think they did have the moments where it was played as comedic, but I always wanted to see more of panels of maybe like more kisses of Matsu and Minato if he's kissing all these other girls, because Matsu is such a great character, and she see her kind of stay away from everything that the chaos is going to drama, but she's still watching, like going, it's like she's kind of reminds me of the Ryoko of the series, honestly, with just the I want to say Ryoko, but it's just I would have loved to see that panel of her actually kissing him than just seeing light being burst out from the room, because she got winged and stuff, and it makes that big old light. Oh man, I love Skimmy. I love Skimmy. Skimmy is amazing. So of course she's doing her. She's not. She told everybody no cheating until Musabi comes. Until Minato picks the wife he wants, and she's doing her best to prove to Minato that she is worthy of it. She's making him lunch while he goes to school, because Minato is going in a university now. And she's just doing everything she could do for wifely duties. And Minato compliments her food, and you could just tell there's a connection between Minato and Musabi, because those are the main characters, and there is Tsugumi could be a main character as well because she has that connection with Minato. So both of them, and you could tell there's like sexual chemistry all the time with those two, and they're smiling, she's blushing, and she's just like, I want to be. I want to be rewarded for my hard work too, and she lays one on Minato as well, and then she stops. Says, "This is cheating. No, Musubi, hurry up and come back." And it's funny when she says that. That's exactly what we get. Musubi comes back. Like she promised, she's with everybody, and that's kind of where it ends. That's kind of where it ends. It leaves. I don't know where you go after that. I don't know if there's hints of maybe a sequel or something. It kind of is because there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like the creator wrapped it up very nicely with a lot of the happy moments, but then there's like is the landlord's husband gonna wake up? So what's gonna happen with Sekirei? Are they really truly amongst the normal people? Like what's is there still a plan going on, or do they still have to fight each other? Is the content done? The Koiton done? What about the president? Like what's the president's next idea? Is this what the president wanted as well? And I think he did. So it's interesting how it all wrapped up, but all wrapped up in a nice bow and happy ending. And Minato is with everybody now, like what he wanted. And then with side characters, you had a sister with her Sekirei. They have a happy ending. You have a lot of the other characters, like that one little boy who had like 7 Sekirei or whatever. He is an adventurer now, so he goes off and does his own thing. So you have all these other characters having a happy ending. And of course, you had the one character who Minato was able to bust out when this whole Sekirei plan commenced, and his Sekirei wasn't as strong. The Ashikabi's Sekirei wasn't as strong and only had like that voice power thing. So they're happily kind of like, they're kind of newlyweds, honestly. They're newlyweds. So everybody has a happy ending in this. And I think the overall ending of Sekirei was great because I think this series was going to end in a happier note, and it should end in a happier note. I think I would have liked, I think her name was Kagura? Sekirei number 4. I think I would have liked her to maybe been awake and be with, because her Ashikabi ends up being with those, the chick with the who looked like the chick from who looked like he would be in Street Fighter, had those gloves and stuff, and then you had the other chick who looked like a Shimigami, honestly. And then her Ashikabi, who didn't seem like he didn't care. They end up being with him, happily with him. But number 4 just ended up just going back, and like they tried to tell her, Musubi and all them tried to tell her, like, that's that's your Ashikabi. You have to, at one point you must have loved your Ashikabi, but number 4 couldn't just take it. So, but overall, great series. Love the first 2 seasons of Sekirei. The manga ended I believe, in a good note. Of course, I would have liked a little bit more different of some things here and there, and it was kind of a messy sprint toward the end, but in all case, it ended pretty well, and I hope there's a season 3 coming out because I love Sekirei. Sekirei is that harem if you're looking for it, because it's exactly what it ends up being, a harem at the very end. I mean, Minato ends up with everybody, all the girls, and they're happily together, and they're down for it, and CEO having a bunch of kids kind of hints at what Minato's looking forward to. So, thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. Like the video if you like, and comment below. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on Dynamite and Daniel's son. And see you guys later. Sekirei, baby. Skew me all the way. And I love Musubi too. Bye.